Thinking Outside the Box, the Community Club, Anna Garcia.
We have a couple of panelists that I'm going to bring on here that are in the virtual audience. Kat, if you could turn on your video, then I can spotlight you for the audience here. And I have Tam Lee and Sarah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, this is about thinking outside of the box. And we have assembled some leaders that are in our clubs that have more than 25 members or are doing something that has increased the membership in a very short period of time. And so we just want to hear successes. You guys can come all the way over here. We want to hear successes, their success stories and what it is that they're doing. So the very first, I'm going to have them introduce themselves. Kat is here. Let me spotlight her. So we're going to have two folks here on screen. So this is a true hybrid presentation. And then we have two of our panelists here in person. So thank you guys so much for being here. A big round of applause. So at this moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Tam to just the introduction that I provided for you guys, and then give us 2 to 3 minutes, 4 minutes to tell us what you're doing with your membership strength. Okay, here you go, Tam.
Thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. My name is Tam Lei. I'm with True Talking Toastmaster. Woo! I joined Toastmaster in 2015. Then I take like 3 years off. Then I was very active with True Talking Toastmasters since 2018. So that is 5 years that I am with Toastmaster. What I really proud of the work that True Talking Toastmaster did was we survived the pandemic. We moved from in-person meeting, then during the time that we have to be online, we were still able to have new members join. And recently in 2022, September 2022, we are back in person half of the time. And our membership grew from 23 to 41 currently. So I would love to share what we have done to get to where we are today.
Hey everyone, I'm Sarah and I'm with Women Lead Toastmasters. I joined Women Lead Toastmasters when it first started, which was actually during the pandemic. So we were a pandemic Toastmasters club. So we were purely online. One of the nice things that we've done recently is that we went hybrid. So we were lucky to have access to NVIDIA, which has rooms that make it a little bit easier for us to do the hybrid setup. So I know that hybrid is quite a challenge for some clubs, but luckily we were able to pull that through, and I think it's working out really well. Let's see. So in terms of membership, for the past year, I was the president of the club, and I believe we went from 25 to 30 members. We did suffer a drop in membership during renewals, but we were able to bring that back up. And I think people really love the hybrid setup. They love being able to attend in person or having that option. So
Thank you, Sarah. All right, let's move over to Robert Costa online.
Thank you. My name is Robert Costa. I'm with the Silicon Valley Entrepreneurs Toastmasters Club. I am a retread Toastmaster. I started in Toastmasters back in 1995, became a competent Toastmasters in the old program, and have been back in Toastmasters on April 1st of 2021, I want to say. And we've been successful. When I came into the club, we were, we're strictly, strictly virtual because of the pandemic. And we were down to approximately 10 members. And since I have been involved, I have helped to over double the club and it's so we're at about 23 members, and we have about 11 in the pipeline because we've added a second session that is focused towards not. So our first session is focused towards entrepreneurs, and the session that myself and a member of our club have produced is something in reference to job seekers for interview practice with instant feedback in the Toastmasters spirit. So we do that so that people don't get nervous during interviews practice. So we saw the market, we saw what needed to happen, and we addressed it. So in other words, we're not just a standard Toastmasters, but we provide a public service, and that's how we have over doubled our size of our club, and we're growing exponentially on a regular basis. Thank you.
And so what I'm hearing, Robert, is that not only do you have your Thursday 12 noon meeting running full steam ahead, but you also have a second meeting that's
Yes.
running full steam ahead. So that's awesome. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
And finally, we have Kat Nguyen from Mountain View.
Hi, can you hear me? I forgot to do a sound check earlier.
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Kat Nguyen. I'm of Mountain View Toastmasters. I've been a Toastmaster for about 7.5 years. And one of the things I like about my club is I think it's a warm, welcoming place. I've made friends there. Some of the folks are particularly creative. And in terms of maybe a unique story of success, I think that what brings people into our club is we have very well organized meetings. A few presidents back, the initiative was to go hybrid. We've stayed with it. Sometimes we question whether we should. Maybe we should go all in person. But we feel like the two styles of speaking now are so important, so we're sticking with it. It's not been easy because there's a lot of equipment you have to bring. One time it was stolen from one of our Sergeant at Arms cars, but we're staying with it. And we feel like guests do come in citing the two options as being a reason to come in. I'll note, this is a little bit of a radical candor we got recently. Dennis Dawson is a Toastmasters, the distinguished one in the area, some of you may know, gave us some good news and bad news. We get lots of new members, but we also lose a lot of members. Membership retention is something we're actively working on and ensuring members make progress. And so we are looking at everything like running an evaluations workshop, reaching out to people who aren't coming in and filling our roles in a different way.
Awesome.
We're always adjusting. Yeah.
That's awesome. So what I'm hearing from at least two of you guys is the hybrid is part of the key to success, but also from Kat Nguyen, she's saying that they're focused on member retention. So that is keeping the main thing. So I loved all of your guys' stories and how your guys are showing that you're focused on the membership strength and growing membership. So I want to ask you guys if you knew what you started with last year and what you ended with. So Tam?
Yes, so like I mentioned earlier, July 25th, 22, we have the base of 23 members. In September, 2 months later, we move into a library. We meet twice a month there. And from there, we was able to go to, from a year later, we got 33. So 23 to 33.
Woo!
And up to date is 41.
Wow. Wow. Sarah, let's answer that question.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, in the past year, we started out with 25 and we had a big drop during renewals. So we actually have a lot more new members that came in, and now we have 30.
All right, Robert, keeping in the same order.
So when we started last year, we were at about 10 members, and now we're at 22. I have 11 in the pipeline, and we don't have a problem with the people leaving our club much, but we definitely have a positive growth as far as new members because of what we offer.
Awesome. Thank you. And Kat?
We have some interesting numbers here. About this time last year, we had about 33 members. Right now, we've held at 34. The fun stat is we gained about 20 people and lost 20 people during that time frame. And
That's
so,
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. So there was a lot of work there to just maintain, but that's the success story is that 20 people came into the club. So big kudos to you guys. All right. I want to ask you guys this important question because I'm the club growth director. Did you take advantage of any of the district programs in the past year to help you with membership goals?
I can go with that answer. Honestly, we know there are programs from the district that can help, and we just go along with it uh, and not fully take advantage. For example, I know that open house is encouraged to do at any club. We take we drive membership from everyday meeting, not just the open house. The open house give the advantage of having district credit. So we sign up for it, but we know that if we have a quality meeting, we can recruit at any time.
Yes, I love it. Did you hear that? Recruit anytime. Sarah.
Yeah, we also take advantage of the open house. We definitely have that. One event that came to mind was the Pitch Your Club event, and I think that was the first time the district did it last year. And the event took place right after one of our Women Lead meetings. So we told everybody to come show up at the Pitch Your Club events, and we had a pretty big showing of Women Lead members at that event. And so it was pretty fun to have such a big representation from our club, and they're all saying great things about the club. So,
Ooh, yes. Lorraine has a question. Can we?
Pitch Your Club event. It was basically you have 1 minute to pitch your club, say great things about it, and convince others to join.
I participated and I won my little section of it, so I'm glad you brought that up because it brought a good memory back to me. All right, let's go with Robert. Did you take advantage of any of the district programs?
No official programs. I leveraged the support through my district leadership. Matter of fact, as of you're one of my biggest cheerleaders, Anna. So I think I owe a lot of my success to your support and the support of my club president and my also the other officers of my club. So I think that's what led to our success in what we're doing in our second session.
And Kat, how about Mountain View? Did you guys take advantage of any district programs?
Yes, we did. We ran an open house last fall. We applied for the best open house, and it just motivated us to make sure we did everything, like do a little PR, flyers and things, so we could submit those materials for the best open house. And getting new members is not a problem for us, but progressing was. So we decided to use the open house to focus on our current members and promote in-person attendance. Like I gave a speech on in-person skills. And then we did take advantage of the early renewal that was recent, shooting for 75% renewal. And I happen to be VP of membership right now. It just got me creative with trying to think of reasons and emails to tell people to join. Like I think one that was effective is reminding people that you can transfer your membership if you have to move, because a few members were talking about they might need to move. And I know that's a common reason for people stopping Toastmasters.
Awesome, I love that. So a little planted seeds there for all of us as you're trying to convince people to renew and they say, well, I might be moving in 6 months, it's okay. You can take your membership with you wherever you go. So that's awesome. Thank you, Kat, for that. All right, now this is the all important because it's the marketing. Everything about growing our clubs is all about marketing. So I want to know from you guys what social media sites, what in-person places do you utilize to attract your guests? So what was your strategy, Tam?
Okay, this is a big secret that I'm gonna let it out. take note on this one. We use mainly the meetup page, and we only had that recently. And the person who created for us is Jack Nguyen right here.
Woo!
We're gonna go out. Our club gave credit to him because the District 101 meetup page did not help us at all. We actually have to pay for our own meetup page. And the cost is, we share it with his other club. So we only pay $99 for the whole year versus if you create your own account, is double that amount, like 200 for the whole year. Because having the meetup page just for us, we can see who signed up. We can reach out to them directly. We ask questions like for a new member who joined. We ask them which date you're gonna join us. You know, because we have all the schedule on the meetup page, but we specifically ask them when you're gonna go to our meeting, who introduced Toastmaster to you, what are you looking forward in joining a Toastmaster club? So we do some preliminary questions to ask them about themselves. And that is the crucial, I have to say it's a crucial recruiting method that worked very effectively for our club. In additionally to meetup page, we have Facebook page. We connect with other Toastmasters so that we can have many people looking at our page. In-person meeting, that is the big part of our club because when people join our clubs, they said the experience meeting in person is the key. And some of the members just join the meeting in person instead of online. And they can choose what they prefer. They can go to the library, that's where we meet, or they can go online. It's one of the other way. We don't do hybrid meeting, meaning that we don't have a Zoom online when we meet at the library. That's the drawback because we don't have the equipment to do a hybrid meeting at the library. So it's strictly in person or strictly online when we have Zoom meeting. So those are the three things: the meetup page, Facebook, and in person are the way for us to grow our membership.
Awesome. And I want to share that Cheryl Wright is affirming that 2/3 of her club membership has come from Meetup. So she's affirming what you said, Tim, about the Meetup being a successful social media platform. And Sheila says we're just starting using Meetup, still figuring out how to integrate the communication smoothly. So we have 2 clubs here. If you want to reach out, Sheila, to Cheryl or Tam, they could probably help you out with that process. Sarah? Same question for you.
So our club also uses Meetup and as well as Facebook. We have a Facebook group. We have in this past year created a website, which is also really nice. We had a website when we first started. It was a WordPress.com website, but it was a bit out of our budget, so we didn't renew it at that time. But consistently, we've been on Meetup and Facebook, and I think that served our purposes quite well. The website is just nice to have. We can put blog posts about the meetings that we've had, the events that we've had, and we can share that to our Facebook group as well, any blogs that we've made. So it's nice to have that official website page, but definitely people have mentioned they found us through Facebook, not so much through Meetup, but I think it's good to have that there for people who don't use Facebook. There's a lot of people out there who don't. So, and then of course, people also find our club through the toastmasters.org, just looking up clubs there.
All right, Robert.
So we do a lot of marketing because we address different markets. So we're on LinkedIn. We're all over LinkedIn. We're all over Facebook. And because we deal with interview practice and for job seekers, we're in a lot of job seeker distribution lists. We deal with organizations such as C6, such as NovaWorks, and all the county sponsored type of job seeking organizations. We have multiple meetup pages because we do have two different unique but complementary sessions, one for entrepreneurs and one for job seekers. So we have separate meetup pages for each of those sessions. So we definitely we don't do any in-person, advertising right now, but we're a 100% virtual club right now, but we are looking at transitioning to having to go into a hybrid scenario for at least our entrepreneur session. But
Awesome.
so, and plus we'd like to keep our job seeking session to be 100% remote, because no matter where you are in the world, you may still need to have interview practice, and you may still be looking for a job. So we don't try to hone down the area that we're addressing. Thank you.
Thank you. Kat.
Yeah, I will say our summary has been, we're looking for things that are very effective with as little maintenance as possible. Inaccurate content is always the bane of your logistics. So I'll say most people find us through the Toastmasters Club Finder or through Meetup. My club started using Meetup before I joined. So that is where we deal with schedule. We update information in case meetings change or get canceled or go only online, because we meet Monday night. So federal holidays, our club location needs to go offline. I'm sorry, online only. And we used to point everyone to the meetups page, but we felt like we needed to get a little more content for guests to understand, how much does it cost and how does it work? So we set up a Google Sites website that's free. And one of our club members set up we paid for a domain name, mvtm.club, which I'll put in the group chat in case remote folks would like to check it out. And we host a lot of content here. We also use short links, URL shortener. We have various links like mvtm.club/RSVP. That points to our meetup site. So those two things, the meetup page and Google Sites, do most of our legwork. And then we also use Facebook and Instagram. Facebook helps our club look alive with some posts and things, that a company just isn't running on autopilot with a meetup page that's just sitting there. We also use it for achievement announcements like contest winners and club status announcements and stuff like that. And we have Instagram kind of just for fun and for achievement announcements. But between the two, there's like logistics and content and then like fun social aspects of the club.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you have a social media person on your officers team?
We happen to. The VP of PR covers all this, and our VP of
Awesome.
PR, Rachel, happens to have a massive social media background this year. So we're very lucky.
Yay. So invite somebody who's very savvy with social media onto your officers as your VP PR. This is awesome. By a show of hands online and in the room, how many of you guys heard of new things that you can try out? I had no idea about the Google site, so that's awesome information. And Robert shared LinkedIn, and who would have thought, right? That is a professional connection. So Robert, thank you for that. And Meetup seems to be very, very effective. So whoop, whoop. All right. And we're going to move on to the next. Important question. What is the process of converting a guest to a member? What is your process? Because obviously with 10 and 12 and 20 people, what are you saying that makes the person say, yeah, I want to become a member? So Tam, you want to lead this off?
We have a 3-step process to convert a guest to a member. So once they send us an email through the Club Finder or a Meetup, we will respond to them right away. As soon as we see the message, I was a VP PR, and that was during last year, I respond to them right away, and the feedback I got was, oh, the club is alive. You are actually doing something, and that showed from their perspective that we care. We let them know right away the question that they ask us. Usually they ask about how they join, how much is the fee. So once I get that email, and because also right now on Meetup page, we also ask them for their email address as one of the first few questions so that we can connect to them right away. We send an email. I can share exactly what we wrote in the email. We welcome them to our club, and then we list all the things about the meeting, the fee. We also send them the application too, because we want to set the tone that these are the things that our club provide to you. We have a membership, the mentorship. Once you join us, what that program is like. We share with them the pictures, the events that we host in the summer, all events that will be a link in that email. And once in that email actually is also indicate the meeting time, if it's in person or is it gonna be on Zoom. We invite them to be a guest for that meeting. So the second step is they have to come to our meeting to experience what a Toastmaster meeting is like. And the main thing is it has to be a quality meeting that entice them to let them know that this is the club that can provide the benefit for them. That is when it's sold to them that True Talking Toastmaster is the club that they want. We create a very positive environment. It's a safe environment for them. And most of the time, once they join that meeting, they come back and they said they want to be the member. We make it very easy for them to pay Zelle, Venmo. Since we already sent the application to them from the very first email, they can, at that time, print out a copy or even send a DocuSign back to us. Then we have the VP of membership. Right now, he will connect to that person and assign a mentor. We CC the mentor on that email. I can share with the email that the VPM sent to the new member. Detail out, okay, your mentor is this person. He included in this email. You should reach out to them. Either way, both way, they have to set up a time and do a one-on-one on Zoom to go over Easy Speak. That's what we use, and go over Toastmaster.org and take them through the first speech, or at least the
Awesome.
first three speeches, so they can complete level 1.
Woo!
It's a lot of work for our officers, but very effective, and that's how we do it.
Yeah, awesome. And you distribute the work, so you don't feel like you have to have one person that's doing everything. But I love it because they have a wheel that's working that they insert a new member in, and they're just going to churn them in until they get those 3 speeches done. So that's awesome. And usually, if you can get your newest member to make a speech, the sooner the better. They're going to stick with your club. But if you're allowing them to linger and linger and linger, waiting for them to be brave, in 6 months, you're going to lose them because they never had an opportunity to speak at your club. So I love the fact that you have a wheel that's going to take them through their first speeches. So Sarah, anything innovative on that you can share how you close out somebody that comes to visit you as a guest?
I think what Tam said about having quality meetings is really important so that no matter who shows up as a guest, you're always starting your meetings on time. You have functionaries that know what their roles are. You have speakers that are good and evaluators that are even better, so that people know that, if you join as a member, you'll get really good feedback on your speeches. Another thing is always making sure to include the guests. We start our meetings early. We have 15 minutes before the meeting starts, and then any guests that come in, we ask them, hey, how do you know about Toastmasters? Are you familiar with the structure? And we'll brief them a little bit on it, and we'll just ask them how they found out about us. And of course, at the end of the meeting, we follow up and ask them about their experience. And then we also make sure that our table topics master includes all the guests. So every table topics master makes sure to call on the guests so that way they participate and they have fun in the meeting. And so even if they don't join right away, they'll want to come back as a guest and keep coming back. And of course, we make sure that our VPM knows to grab their emails. That way we can include them in emails for upcoming meetings. So that way they can keep coming back, keep enjoying themselves, and eventually become a member.
Awesome. So how many meetings do you guys like your guests to keep coming back to before you invite them to be a member? Anybody in the room? 2 meetings? One, 2? Anybody else? Is there, yeah, Jack?
We don't have an official policy, but my recommendation is 3 because the meeting is different. Also, if guests back, then full. You go to a bunch of meetings, and another guest comes in, and full people are more likely to join.
Awesome. So Jack's recommendation is at least 3. Let them come back 3 times and then try to close the sale on them and say, what's stopping you from becoming a member of our club? It seems like you're enjoying us. So join us. All right, Robert, I know you have a different approach. So share with us.
I do, but you have to understand that our club addresses kind of a niche market. You know, people that are either want to get started in a startup, are already entrepreneurs or entrepreneurially minded. So we address that market. So when people come, they would look. We also have a lot of value add to our meetings because we have an on-site professional pitch master. So we give actual pitch practice on how to pitch
Right there.
a potential investor. And so that's one of the value adds. And the same thing with the job seeking. We also have our pitch master that will actually give trainings for when to pitch during an interview. So in other words, when to sell yourself in the interview. So how we approach it is that we have, I hate to say this, but people that attend like a groupies. They always are attending because they see so much value in what we present because it's not a stereotypical Toastmaster meeting. It has a specific focus, and because they want to do so, we have a lot of things that they can do, like our table topics that is open to guests, and the same thing with our interview practice. It's open to guests, but if they want to, say for instance, advance in learning how to do speeches that are focused towards the corporate environment or something you would pitch your boss at work, then that's when we encourage them to take the next step, because then they can see the value already and we don't even have to chase them. They come to us. That's literally how we approach it. It's a no pressure. They see the value and they therefore want to become a part of it to advance their progress that they've already had, because they feel more comfortable now in going into interviews or pitching somebody in for funding and things of that nature. So they come to us. I'm the VP of membership, and I mean, I do follow up with the guests, but I definitely don't do a pressure like you need to join and this. I just try to point out what value they will gain from joining our club. So that's my approach, and it works. It's been very successful.
That's awesome. It's a good place to be in when people are chasing you.
Exactly.
Hunting you down. Kat?
Yeah, I'll plus one what one of the other panelists said, quality of meetings. That I think is one of the #1 draws that brings a guest to want to even become a member in the first place. And then in terms of other correspondence, I'm VP of membership and I use templates for replying. It saves me so much time. I have a template for if someone's just a cold inquiry, and sometimes to prompt them to respond to us, like, oh, what are you looking for specifically? We can tell you if our club has what you're seeking out here. I have a different template for someone who's already attended the club. I don't need to inundate them with meeting info because it feels like I didn't know them. And then we have a template, of course, for someone who said, yeah, this is great, I want to join. In general, I also try to follow a 24-hour turnaround. I know that Toastmasters, when they give us a club lead inquiry, they say no more than 48 hours. So I say either guideline is pretty good. And we use a spreadsheet to track correspondence too. So if a guest is in chatting with us, we just keep track of, have they followed up? When did we last reply? They haven't talked to us in a month. We can maybe consider the conversation retired for now. Now, when it comes to converting someone over, we have a big checklist. It used to be one person did a lot of everything, is usually the treasurer, because we had to get the money in, get the application in. So they kind of became the onboarding person, but we ended up lacking any sort of instruction, telling them what's next. Sign up for a role. Here's how to look up your speech info. So over the years, we've converted into sort of like a relay. And we do have some officers take maybe some of the duties, so we have fewer handoffs. Otherwise, it would kind of be membership, secretary, treasurer, secretary, VP of Ed, secretary, VPR. So we have a few officers do secretary tasks, like the treasurer, since they have to pay, puts the application info in at the Toastmaster site. That's one example. So we just have like a kind of one each officer hits it, and the VP of Ed is probably does the biggest amount of stuff that's new member facing, sends them an onboarding email and gets them started. What else I would also say, I want to plus one what someone, I think Kieran said in the chat, the having meeting minutes, which we do, is very important. I learned the hard way, I think, how it affects membership retention. A few years ago, I kind of laxed as club secretary in sending our minutes, and we had a noticeable drop in renewal, one of those rounds. And this also leads me to another plus one for something I said before. You want to have processes that are effective, but not too much effort to maintain. For me, I had made the club, the meeting minutes very detailed, and I didn't stick with it. So when we later on had future club secretaries, we streamlined the process and made it easier to do. What else I would say? And yeah, another plus one to having some kind of wheel to take people through their first speeches. We are revisiting our club mentorship program, but maybe a year ago, our mentorship chair had what I thought was a very nice system where we paired new members with a mentor, and the goal was to get them through the icebreaker and that first project of evaluation and feedback. That way they do 3 speeches and an evaluation. They could potentially be eligible as a judge during a contest when we do that too.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were partly low on judges. We're like, oh, this person be good. Wait, they haven't done an evaluation yet. And we felt like this also covered the most critical foundational skills of a new Toastmaster, the evaluation and integrating feedback, not just that first speech.
Yep, and then submitting in pathways for your level 1. Whoop, whoop. And then your VPE gets to submit and then submit. So that's awesome. Again, another system where they're getting people through those first 3 speeches and the evaluation. So very well done. You guys have clearly explained how you guys work together, and as not only as a club, but as officers in your club. And the key thing is obviously the quality meeting. So I want to ask the audience now, online and in person, if they can just shout out here in the room, and then you guys can type it out. Think about the one quality thing that your club does that you think makes a difference, so that we can learn from you guys. So if you can just raise your hand, we'll call on you. And if you guys want to type it in, the one quality thing that your club does for the meeting. Anybody? I'm keeping an eye on the chat. Yes, Jack.
As a rule, our club primary directive is every paying member gets a chance to speak. I noticed that some of the panelists mentioned that they always try to include the guests. And I've seen some clubs do this, but the problem is that if you include the guests, you don't have time for the paying members. So I've been in clubs where I've been a member and I took time off of work to get there, and I just went there and I didn't get a table topics question, I didn't get anything. And by the end of the meeting, I'm like, why did I come? So the primary thing that we do, I think, better than a lot of clubs, is that we make sure that every paying member gets.
Awesome. That's great, right? Because we do come in every week by week by week to practice. That's one of the only things that I think Toastmasters has over any other leadership and communication program. I can go off to a weekend, learn from the best communication pro, be energized for about 2 months, and then I'm going to hit a cliff because I don't have anywhere to practice what I learned in this session, this $1,000, $2,000 session. Whereas I can come to Toastmasters, spend my monthly fee, and practice every single week. And so I think that that's a key piece of it because that's what keeps me coming back is that but don't be afraid. Sign up for the roles too. If you are not feeling like you're getting enough table topics sent your way, then sign up for a role because all of that contributes to refining your own. What I'm seeing here online from Cheryl is they have a good welcoming. They're good at welcoming guests and including them in the meeting so that they can see the potential. Meeting minutes from Marianne. Meeting minutes sent after each meeting so those who are not able to attend can see who spoke. Table topics. Every member and guest participate during our meetings. Marianne will say, we're going to ask your self-pay in a second. Table topics is always engaging. From Sheila, Rochelle, maintain communication with possibly new members and guests. And Cheryl, again, reach out personally to guests that have attended as well to ensure that they're making personal connection with us. That's a good one, right? We want to get to know them. We want them to get to know us. And Marianne, engage guests with meeting invites until they are asked to be removed. So I've seen clubs do that. I think it's awesome because it's just sort of there's not a lot of effort there. It's low-hanging fruit. And sometimes it takes several months for this to happen. So all of that is good advertising. Anybody in the room want to talk? Yeah, I see one hand back there, and then we'll go to you, Roy.
I'm in the SCU MBA Toastmasters Club. Every guest who visits us says a unique timing application, right? That is simplifying the timing for high creek weekends. I can't explain to you how it works, but I welcome you to visit our club.
Look at him. Woo! Woo! His secret thing is the timing device that they have at their club, and we all need to go see that because he's not revealing the secret to us here. But we're gonna see about 60 people in your new meeting. Roy?
The number one complimentary things that guests say about our club, and I suspect they would say about any club, is, wow, you guys are so well structured and well organized and efficient, and they're very impressed by that. So it goes back to meeting quality.
Yep, starting on time, having an agenda. Everybody knows what they're doing. Nobody's fiddling at the end or getting oh, okay, I'll take a counter, last minute as you're trying to get the meeting going. So all of that organization just shows that you're treating your club like professionals, right? We're all adults. We're here to run a good, successful meeting. So that's awesome. Also, a couple of things. Newsletter after each meeting. Newsletter, wow. Review of meeting, new minute theme, and any Toastmaster F D101 news updates. Rochelle, sorry, do you have a volume? We're getting technical difficulties from Michelle.
It's people in the room.
In the room, okay. So maybe we need to have somebody run a mic. We're going to have, Rochelle, we're going to try to address that by having a mic runner. Thank you for that. She says thank you back to us. Okay, so now we only have a few minutes left. Nobody's going to speak yet, but if we do. Oh, yeah, sorry. What did you want to say, Harry?
I want to say something that's unique to a club that I attend, so that's what everyone's talking about.
Yes.
Sure. Actually, Anna, you might know about this club because we're both in the same club. There's this club called Ha Ha Ha. It's a laughter club. And I think one of the fun things we do in that club is we appoint what's called as a clip master. And I really like that part about the club. It's all about humor, the club. And one of the things we do, one of the things that this clip master does is they find a funny clip online and they share it with us. And then we discuss why that is funny and then try to work on it so that we can become funnier ourselves next time. And I think that's very interesting. A lot of people who came to visit our clubs like that idea. So, yeah.
Ooh. Humans, visual creatures, and we learn a lot from watching other people, so this is good. So Cheryl, hopefully you were able to hear Harry. 2 thumbs up. All right, now that you guys have heard all of this, okay, we're gonna involve everybody. Any questions for our 4 panelists from the audience? Any questions? We had one from Marilyn. Or Marianne, 1 second. She's asking, I have to go back up, because a bunch of things came in after the fact. She was asking, where are you? Oh, who can answer this? Do clubs use self-pay? Why or why not? So you know that last year's term, Toastmasters enabled self-pay. So are there any pros and cons? Roy has his hand up. Can we get a mic to him? This is about self-pay. Why or why not? To be or not to be?
Self-pay is a concept that sounds good with the word self-pay. However, the obvious drawback is that now they're paying twice because they're not paying they can't pay the club dues on self-pay. So for us, it's just not relevant to how we want to do things.
Awesome. So yes, so self-pay, if you do that for your members, they can pay their Toastmasters membership, but they'll have to take a second step to pay the club dues. And some, like you guys, they have to pay for their meeting room. And they do that by their members contributing some of the cost. They take a little bit out of every membership for the month to pay for their room. And so it's a 2-step process for your members. So those are things that your treasurer needs to consider if they want to enable self-pay or not enable self-pay. Does anybody have a pro reason why they enjoy self-pay? Lorraine, just hang on to it.
I belong to a club that's online only, and they enable self-pay because they don't collect any club dues. So you don't have to collect twice. Members can log in and pay for their own. I think that's the only way where it would be justifiable to do self-pay.
Awesome. So there you go. They just go in, they pay themselves. You don't have to maintain a bank account if you don't have club dues. I see a hand back there for Dan. Sorry, we're going to need a mic because the audience online needs to hear you. He's waving. Dan.
Great. Yeah, thank you. I'm a big advocate of self-pay, and I'll admit I don't have the full experience yet to be able to say, oh, this really works. But I want it to work, even with clubs that pay club dues. And the reason is that somebody's got to do the work of transferring the money from the well, that's within the international account, for TI, has to transfer that. It may as well be the club member. If you stick it to the treasurer, they still have to do that work. And I like the idea of splitting it up, just like taxes, state taxes, federal taxes. Let's be very aware of the distinction. The local club dues go to the club, and there's a big return on that, and I think people need to be aware of that.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. So there you go. Wendy, she has arguments for or against self-pay. Oh, question, please. Take the question.
So I really appreciate all the panelists, and you really touched a very important point, that quality meeting, and also you shared all the elements of quality meeting. I'm just wondering, behind all this quality, you have to have people, a team of officers and willing members. Do you just naturally have that team, or did you have to do some work to get? Thank you.
I can speak to that if.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tam, and then we'll go to Kat.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that question, Wendy. My club, True Talking Toastmaster, we have a team, like the officers. Without the sergeant at arms, is Alan Diva right here in the audience. He have to come early to arrange the room, and we have the treasurer pay for the room reservation. We have people, members also come early to help clean up the room or set up the room. It's a team effort. It's like the whole club effort, and to have that um, setting is we have to bring that benefit and the fun to the club so that everybody feel like this is the place that they belong and they want to contribute to it.
Awesome. Thank you. Kat.
Yeah, I'll say, in my experience, I think one of the number one things you can do to make your life easier and to make your meetings look very prepared is just have those roles filled before the meeting, filled and confirmed. And our club does it, I'll say the few processes are this: the VP of Ed and the weekly Toastmaster, the two people filling the roles. The VP of Ed does their best to get everything filled before they remind the weekly Toastmaster, send out a confirmation email. If there's last minute cancellations, we have the weekly Toastmaster reach out and find replacements. The other thing is we encourage the weekly Toastmaster to send out that email as soon as they can. We meet Mondays, so we say, Wednesday, Thursday, try to get that email out so that if you have a cancellation, which happens because life happens, that you have time to find a replacement functionary, replacement speaker, evaluator, etc. But that is the number one way to make your life easy in the moment when your meeting happens too.
That's awesome.
Actually,
Yeah.
I do want to add, sorry, I want to add to Kat that the communication is the key. We actually have a WhatsApp channel. We add all members on that group chat, and whenever somebody not be able to make it to the meeting, they will let everybody know, and we will find a replacement right away, or at least have a heads up.
Awesome.
A functionary is going to be missing. So communication, have a immediate update so that everybody aware of what is going to happen at the meeting.
That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. WhatsApp is effective a tool. Philip.
Thank you very much. Hey, a lot of great ideas from you guys. Really appreciate it. Can anyone stand up for the Find a Club button on the Toastmasters website? Does anyone, we got a thumbs up for that. So could you guys give us any idea in between all these, I wouldn't call them sophisticated, great ideas that you have, do you find that it matches up to Find a Club? And I'm maybe an old timer. 4 years ago, I went on to Toastmasters.com, found my club through that button, and I've just never looked back. So all these ideas are great ideas to me, but I'm wondering how many people are dinosaurs that way that just go straight to that website. What can you guys say about that?
Interesting question. Anybody want to take that on? We have a respondee over here.
Hi everyone. I'm not a club member.
Is it on?
Is it on?
Yes, it is on.
So I'm not a club member yet.
Oh.
I would share my experience with how I found. I'd share my experience with how I found you guys. So I did not even know what Toastmasters was until Wednesday morning.
Wow. Woo!
So I've recently moved to Silicon Valley, and I'm an entrepreneur, so I was looking for some meetups for entrepreneurs. Somebody recommended meetup pages, and I signed up to Meetup, still a free member, and I found a meeting happening. And I think within 2 hours of me clicking the apply button, I was in that meeting, met with Roy. I had no clue what Toastmasters was. I think I still am learning what it is.
So are we. So are we.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to be in the deep of it and see how the clubs work here. Still need to understand what my gains would be. But I would say the one thing that works for you guys is Meetup. I don't know what Toastmasters is. I went to your website, I'm sorry to say, but not much made sense there to a newcomer. I did not know what I would get out of it, but that meetup, the name itself, the Silicon Valley Entrepreneurs Meetup Group, did the job for me.
Awesome.
I attended a couple of speeches. I saw relevant feedbacks. I saw uh, very good inputs being given to the speakers. And I thought, maybe, yeah, it will give me some benefit because in near future, I will be pitching to the US audience. And that I think is a good way for me to learn how to tweak my speech, how to tweak my content to the relevant audience here. I'm from UK for 24 years, so I know a bit about UK, but really nothing about US.
Awesome.
So Meetup is what I would say it is. And I don't work for Meetup.
Awesome. Well, maybe you should. They're going to be hiring you very, very soon. The question to all the panelists here from online from Karen. Is it a good idea to bring guest speakers to your meeting? It's a balance. Too many guest speakers causes complaints from members, but variety is good too. Is there a best practice? And maybe Jack can lend his answer after the panelists because I think he probably has some thoughts on that. So from the panelists, is it a good idea to bring guest speakers? Yes, Robert.
So one of my special features of the job seeking or the career session, the Tuesday night career sessions, that we have special subject matter experts that actually come out. And these could be career coaches, these could be HR representatives, these could be hiring managers to be able to give tips and tricks and things of that nature. So we actually take some of our time that would normally be used for speeches, and we actually have a guest speaker. We advertise ahead of time, and I'm finding that just bringing in these guest speakers just brings so much attention to what we're doing. And then we followed up with our interview practice afterwards. And I find just bringing in these guest speakers that are subject matter experts, bring people in the front door, and then they can see what else we're doing. And then the joining of the club becomes a natural thing. So I highly suggest that guest speakers, I mean, you don't want to do it a lot. I do it once a month at our Tuesday evening sessions, but it is definitely something, if well advertised, will get people into the door, and then they will come to further meetings afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Jack, any response to that?
Oh, I was going to respond to the question before.
Okay, Jack, you can respond to the question before.
I'll try to be quick because I know everybody wants to go to lunch. Well, Meetup is a really great source, but also the Toastmasters website is actually really effective, but you have to use it. How many of you have actually set up your club's information so that Toastmasters will funnel those leads to you?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because I've noticed that a lot of clubs don't do that. And I know this because I personally wrote to a bunch of them. I wrote to about 15 clubs just as a test, and guess how many responded? One.
Oh, wow.
One.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Go make sure your information's on TI and make sure it's correct and current.
And I went back to I took over the PR for my club, and I went through the old emails, and I saw that we had 100 club leads requests over the past 2 years from the pandemic till recently that were unanswered.
Wow.
So I went through and I wrote to 100 different people, apologizing to them and begging them to come back. Emails that dated back 2 years.
Wow.
And I got maybe about 20 people that actually came. And I don't know what they were doing the past 2 years, but they were very grateful that I responded. The other thing is that making a request on the club leads website is actually a pain in the ass. Try it one time. Try it 15 times. It is a pain because you have to not only put in your name, your email, but also a phone number. You have to put in a real phone number for some reason. So each time somebody does that, that is a pain in the butt. They want a response.
Yeah.
So imagine doing that And then hopefully they're hoping, oh my God, I hope they respond because this is like something I've always wanted to do. And then they don't get a response. So they might write to another club, and each time it's just like it's a shot to the gut when somebody doesn't respond. It's like they're thinking, oh, did they not like me? Did they not like my name? I don't know why.
Yeah.
So just make it a point to respond. I mean, that's just like free advertising. We've gotten so many leads from Toastmasters.org.
Yeah. So if they've taken the effort to reach out to you, reach back out. This is the end. I would love to just continue because obviously as club growth director for D101, this topic is very near and dear to my heart. And I'm hoping that you guys got to learn. You learned a lot. When we have a meeting of the minds, that's when innovation happens. And we're going to start to generate ideas for new clubs, generate ideas for how to do membership drives, generate ideas for effective open houses. We learned a lot from our panelists. They have strong memberships, so you could probably reach out to any single one of them to talk about their tips and tricks on one-on-one, but I'm going to go ahead and release everybody now for lunch.